Welcome to the patio, where we parlay.
So I was talking to Keidra one day, man, and we were just talking about how men can have feelings. And I remember once when I was a kid, I can't remember how old I was, maybe 8 or 9. My dad used to make these go-karts, homemade go-karts. And I remember there was one go-kart that was huge, had a big motor on the back. The motor was really big. But anyway, it was bootleg, of course.
Right.
And he took me to the park one day, and the brakes failed, and it wouldn't stop. So the only way for me to stop it was to hit the baseball diamond. The baseball field, and I was terrified. But the thing that killed me was I was more afraid to tell my dad that I was scared to run that thing up that hill
and possibly breaking a arm or leg. Or
I was scared to tell him I was scared. I wasn't afraid to run the thing. I was afraid to tell him that I was scared, if that makes sense. I was more afraid to tell him that I was scared, but eventually the thing wouldn't stop, so I had to hit and when I hit it, it ran up for a couple of things and it stopped. But I remember on the way home, I felt like ashamed and I was scared. And I felt like I wasn't a big boy. At the time, a big boy. I felt like I wasn't a big boy because I was scared to hit that thing and I didn't want to tell my daddy I was scared. And my daddy in my head at the time is what I call a man's man.
Right.
My dad, to me, will go out there and kill a bear, hang him from the roof and skin him, and take the claws and pick his teeth.
Right.
You know, that's just my dad in my head. And for me to sit there and say, I'm scared to run a cart up a little fence, to me that made me feel like, well, you're not a big boy. Right. You're not a man. And I've had those feelings, and that's what we kind of made me share with Keidra. I've had those feelings a bunch of times growing up. This wound right here, this is a football wound when I was in high school. Turf burns. See, you know how you know how they are. You know how turf burns are.
Yeah.
And I remember, I'll never forget the coach's words. He said, "Ain't nothing hurt but your feelings."
Man.
Coach said, I ain't gonna say the coach's name, but I can hear his name first and last. I can hear his voice, hear his face, and
Get up.
Ain't nothing hurt.
Stop being up.
And when I tell you, I don't know how I held back tears, bro. I was probably 15, 16, and I dove for a pass, and I know I slid as far as from here to that thing on my elbow, and it was just blood.
Red,
And I remember doing like this, wiping it on my pants.
And you keep it pushing.
And I got back in the huddle.
Yeah.
And I remember going,
Right.
I was trying not to cry. I remember that, bro.
I made that same face.
Ain't nothing hurt but your feelings.
I made that same face when I got a good old fashioned ass whooping. Stop crying. Well, if you stop hitting me, I just might stop crying.
Right.
But you're told as a man, you can't cry. You can't cry. And even, I'm a teacher, and I've been teaching 18, 19 years. And I tell my students, if you get hurt or if your feelings are hurt, then you can cry.
Right.
But if it's something that I told you not to do, like if I told y'all to stop playing, if I told you to stop jumping, and you get hurt, then I say, oh, I told you not to do it.
Yeah.
So you don't get to cry.
Well, I mean, we're cut from a different cloth. It's like, my son is 14, and I tell him that it's okay to cry. It doesn't make you less of a boy or it doesn't make a man less of a man. But if, like you said, if you crying because I told you no, I took a privilege from you.
I hate that.
No, don't cry.
Now,
if you sit up there, you running, you playing with your friends, y'all playing in the street, and you fall and you slide 3-4 feet on the road and your elbow's poking out.
That hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. Go ahead on and cry. If you're experiencing physical pain
hurts.
It's okay to cry. But just because I told you no, you can't do this or you can't go there, don't.
Where's the line though?
But being honest with you, even the physical pain, then it has to be, especially the way we were brought up, at least the way I was brought up, even that physical pain, there has to be extreme. Yeah. It has to be extreme pain because even the turf burn, everybody who played ball, if you played on turf, you had the turf burn.
It burned.
And but you better not cry
You
back
better
in that hole.
not. You better not.
You better not. Even when you get in the shower and
You
you
better-
know that's when that
Right.
first bird in the shower.
got
You better not cry
Right.
because there are certain limits that we're told
Well-
that there's a difference between, you know, being
Just come on out and say it.
being physically. I don't know, being able to express,
Emotional.
express certain things, and I don't know. I guess maybe it's the flaw that we have too. I have. To me, being physically hurt, that's not emotion. You know,
It is what it is.
Yeah, you hurt, but you still suck it up.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been told since time we were able to crawl, walk it off, brush it off, be a little boy.
Be a man.
Be a man.
No, they don't tell you to be a boy.
Yeah.
They tell you
Well,
be a
well,
man.
What do they tell them little 3-year-olds?
Be a man.
Be
Be a man.
Be a
They
man.
said, I saw this lady in the store the other day, man. This little boy had to have been 4 or 5. Dragging the shit out of him. Bring your ass on there, man. Man, your ass ain't nothing wrong with your little ass. Your ass.
Yeah.
And honestly, I couldn't tell what was wrong with the little boy. But being a pre-K teacher, I have a heart for the little ones.
Absolutely.
And I could tell something was wrong with him. Something, I don't know if he needed a diaper change or it wasn't I'm crying because she won't buy me this
Right.
toy.
Right.
It wasn't that
It was
kind of cry.
something.
It was a different kind of cry. And
Right.
to me, it was something that was wrong with him. He needed to be attended to.
Right.
But she was, be a man. You better suck it up. Be a big boy. You a man. I'm like, he's 5.
Yeah.
Let him be a kid. Let him
Right.
be a child.
And the question is, you know, if a child doesn't cry, if we don't not allowed to express ourselves, at some point we're going to express ourselves in different ways.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes it just builds up, and it can affect us in other areas of our life. You know,
Wow,
and in
you
the
said
black
that.
in the black community, we don't do counseling.
It's
You know,
we don't.
And even
That's
in
taboo.
2021, it's still taboo.
Right.
Still
Right.
taboo.
We don't go to the church like we used to. So now it becomes, what is the outlet? Where are we supposed to let our feelings out? Where are we supposed to express ourselves?
It is good. But it still brings us back to the original. One of the things that you said, one of the points that you made was being a black man. We don't necessarily get the same options that other people get.
No.
Crying and being sensitive. That at being a black man
You
in
been
America,
that, bro.
probably worldwide, the second you show sensitivity, second you show pain, hurt, weakness,
You're a punk.
You
You're a pussy.
attack.
yeah,
attack.
and you're easy mark
Yep.
for other races.
I would like to hear
Because-
that point from the other races though. Do you think it's that same for them?
They're not gonna keep it real.
Well-
they're gonna be politically correct.
Well,
and
but
I'm like,
but the thing is, we're not judged on the same standard.
True.
If a white man cries, it's okay. There must have been something wrong, this, that, and the other. But a black man cries,
You weak.
he's weak.
Yeah.
exactly.
But
He's
why
weak.
though, man? Why?
Well,
Because-
it starts.
because of fear.
It starts when we're kids, right? If we was at school, the sensitive kid that cried, the boy that cried, what did we label
Oh,
him
we
at?
beat his ass.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I said we because I
Right.
did it too.
Right. So you got picked on. You got called names. You know. You
Sissy,
right. So
punk,
you start taking
crybaby.
on the labels of those names, right? And so I think we do it to our own selves. We do it to our own people. I mean, we bully people all the time. We didn't call it bullying back then. It was just,
Just growing up.
it was just the way we teased each other growing up.
So you don't think the white kids
They
go through
do.
that?
They do.
Yeah, but they don't have the same. It doesn't. They don't have the same results. Like, in all honesty, we're all black men here. You know, the whole philosophy. We have to do it better, faster. You know, we have to be stronger. Everything
Right.
else to get to
Half
make up
is what it is.
half
And
that
it's
distance we
crazy
are behind.
because I'm pretty sure all of us have probably heard it at one point, especially during our late teen, early 20s. You know, you're gonna have to work twice as hard to get half as far. And you know, when you're 18, 19, 20, 20, when you're a kid, you know, you're
Right.
kind of hot-headed. It's like
Right.
you hear it, but you don't understand it.
Right.
As you
Now
get
that
older.
you know, once you hit your late 30s and your 40s, it's like, damn, yeah, I do have to work twice as hard to get half as far.
Right.
And that's something I've been preaching to my son probably since he's about 6 or 7 years old. Now, granted, he doesn't fully understand it, but now that he's a teenager, he's kind of slowly starting to grasp the concept.
And you,
But
and you don't-
that takes us back to the
Right.
point though that we're talking about, because we are attacked.
Right.
I'm to be, you know, and I ain't, we're not going black power, none of that, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. As black men, we are attacked. And when we get out there in corporate America, I've been in corporate America, and then, you know, I've been in the educational field for the longest. It doesn't matter what field we're in, we are attacked. And the second, and I hate to say it, call it weakness, because it's not really a weakness, but it's perceived as a weakness. The second we cry, the second we show weakness, we're prey.
Yeah.
At that point, we're prey. We're no longer predators.
It's like we can't show a natural human
You
emotion.
You can't.
That
You better
everybody
not.
has. Everybody gets to cry.
Regardless if
Everyone
you-
has
regardless if you're 2 months old or if you're 92 years old.
Yeah.
Everybody has it's a natural human
I'm
emotion.
talking about.
It is.
And even parents and grandparents, they'll tell their kids, their boys, black boys, the woman don't want no weak man. The woman don't want no man to cry more than she do. You know what I'm saying? So we're taught to be tough and tough enough.
Y'all
Stay tough.
something.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I told one of my young partners, you know, in his early 20s, and we were talking about being in a relationship with women. I'm like, and be honest with you, women want, in my opinion, the number one thing that women want out of any man, especially a black man, is to feel safe.
Yes.
To feel safe financially, emotionally, but definitely physically.
Right.
Right.
And if you out here
Come
crying,
on, go on.
if
Let it
you
out, my
crying
brother.
and you showing your emotion and everything, I'm gonna be honest with you. A woman will. I've heard a woman say, he crying. We on the same level.
Right.
What I need to be with a man who's always crying, who always sings
Okay,
about,
you see,
who talk about their
It seems
feelings and
being,
everything.
it seems being insecure.
Here's the deal. What if I'm a man and I can't fight?
You better.
But you know what? Hey,
to the gun
guess what?
I'm not gonna
No,
kill you.
I understand what you're saying, yeah.
I'm a man. I love my wife, but I just can't fight.
But you know
Period.
what?
Too old to be fighting,
But the
for
thing
one.
is, but here's the deal. You don't have to really know how to fight. She just has to feel safe.
But I'm saying-
a lot of women,
And-
that
and in that-
being able to
what-
fight is equates safe.
But see,
What did Beyonce
okay,
say?
but
What a
here's
man
the
that can
thing.
stand up for me?
Yeah, but
You know what
here's
I'm saying?
okay, but let's be real. In our 40s, 50s, whatever.
Yeah.
How many of us out here having physical altercations?
Nah, I'm too old.
You're not. But so what is being equated to our strength?
But she wants to know if shit gets hot.
That's what I'm
Is-
saying.
you know,
you can't
That's what I'm
And so-
saying.
And the only way she knows that, unless she's seen you
Right.
out there fighting,
Right,
exactly.
is how you act. And if you in here crying, she automatically assume we get into it, I'm on my own.
Right.
I gotta call somebody else. But as long as she looks at you and every time,
Right.
like, I mean, I've been with women years.
Yeah. And
They've
that's-
never seen me fight. You know, they've heard stuff.
Right.
They've never seen, but they feel safe.
Any of y'all
Because in
met-
their mind, they're like, well, I ain't never seen him cower. I ain't never seen him cry. I ain't never seen him, want to talk about emotion, feelings. So he must be a strong man.
Right.
Not counting, I got a question for y'all. Not counting your wife, if you're married, your girlfriend, longtime girlfriend, or a relative. How many women have seen any of y'all cry? Or have you cried in front of a woman, not your girlfriend or relative?
I have.
I haven't.
Girlfriend or relative?
Don't count. Wife, girlfriend, relative, sister, don't count. Just a random friend.
Just a random friend.
I had a good friend of mine when my grandmother passed away in December of 2016. Now, I was at the hospital all day.
Right.
And when I finally got home, probably, it was close to midnight that night. Now, I could have called anybody because everything was happening so fast. And it didn't really give me, because I was actually in the hospital when she took her last breath. And when I finally got home, I could have called anybody. My mom, my cousins, brother, relative, anybody. I called one of my good friends that lives out here. And as soon as she answered, I just started bawling.
Were y'all dating at the time?
No, one day, real good friends. Real
Female
good
friend.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say, now listen. The reason why I say that is because, and I know you probably don't think I'm lying, but I think for some reason, men find like comfort in women that aren't their girlfriend or their wives, and it's not sexual.
No,
it's not sexual
because they're not gonna judge you.
Right.
And she literally, she listened, because it was late. It was like probably almost midnight, and she just listened to me. And it's like we already had a good friendship, but it just kind of made our bond stronger. And to this day, she's never judged me. She always, convinced me like, yeah, Ro, not many men will, cry in front of a woman, be it face to face, over the phone, or whatever the case may be, because the double standard was as far as showing emotion, and I'm pretty sure all of us have experienced it at some point in time, is that when a man cries, oftentimes a woman may see us as soft, but when we keep our emotions balled in, you never show your emotions.
Right.
I don't know how you feeling, but it's like when we do, you need to man up. You acting like a little bitch.
Right.
It's like, well, God
Get out
damn,
your
what the hell
feelings.
you want us to do?
Right.
Get out your feelings.
That's catch
double
catch
standard.
22.
I done got
That's
to the
double
point.
standard with
I done
being a
got to the
man.
point at 46. I'm express my emotions. That don't make me less of a man. If you think I'm less of a man, then that's your problem. So
Well, like I said, it goes back to when a man is very emotional, too emotional in a woman's eyes, he's seen as insecure.
Yeah.
It's something. It's a reason why he's so emotional. He could be screaming or could be violent or whatever, but you know what I'm saying. If he's expressing too much emotion, then he's seen as insecure. It's like you acting like one of my girlfriends or something like that. Exactly.
Like
so
men can't have emotion.
Right.
Having emotion is a human
is.
trait,
Natural.
right? So why can't men have
But
emotion?
it's perceived as a feminine trait, though.
It is, because women are allowed to have emotion, feelings, and men
Oh
aren't.
yeah, definitely.
Now, I got a question for the fellas. How many times, be it your wife, your girlfriend, it could be your mother, aunt, grandmother, if they ask you how you doing, and you said all
Fine.
right,
All right.
and you know
Fine.
good and damn well,
Fine.
you know good
All
and
day.
damn well you're not all right.
All day.
Yeah, happens all the time.
All
Probably
day.
was sometime this week.
You know why? In my head, if I just say fine, we'll continue with the day,
Right.
and you'll bring up something, and then we'll talk about something else that eventually get my mind off what was bothering me. So if I just say fine, I will be fine.
Right.
Just leave me alone and let me naturally get whatever was wrong with me off of me. But in the meantime, you can talk to me. You can, be nice to me. Say hi. How you doing? Make sure I'm okay or whatever.
Right.
But I feel like men have I don't know the word for it. I want to say curtain, but behind their feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think a lot of times what happens with women when we do express ourselves or we have an issue or whatever it's called, then now they want to fix it. Right now they want to fix it. Or like everything can't be fixed
And
right here in
sometimes
this
just want you-
conversation.
just like
Sometimes
how
we just
they-
want you to
know-
listen.
You know how they just want us
Right.
to listen while they vent?
Right.
We the same way. Just listen. I'm not asking right now.
I'm not that way. I'm not a fixer. I'm not a venter. I don't really care about fixing it because in my head I already have the problem solved in my head anyway.
But it's kind of natural for a woman to want to nurture. I mean, especially if she's a mother, it's natural.
natural,
Women
yeah.
have natural nurturing instinct, and then if she's a mother, it heightens that.
Right. She
like
wanna
you said,
take care
they
of you.
want to fix it, but oftentimes we don't really need you to fix it. Just
Right.
just listen. Just listen to me. Just let me yell it out. Let me scream.
Right. Right.
Without
about these
judgment.
Without judgment.
Without
That's the
judgment.
point.
But
Without
see,
judgment.
but you gotta think though. I mean, a lot of times that fixing comes with judgment.
It does.
It does.
Comes with
does.
judgment.
Like,
I mean,
oh, go ahead.
no, go
I'm
ahead.
saying you could be a situation where the boss did something at work. You better go handle that. You better not let him do that.
Yeah.
You better not like,
You gonna
hold
let
on.
him
I'm
talk to
trying to
you like
express.
that?
I'm trying to express my feelings to you. Now you telling me what I need to do, what I gotta do.
Yeah.
If that was me, I do this. I said, hold on now.
because it still equates back to the strength thing. Because, a lot of them fixing their problems is getting out emotionally. When they suggest for us to fix our problem,
Right.
it's to go out and handle something.
Exactly.
Whether it's a boss, like
Wait, say
the
that
scenario
again, say
give
that
is the
again.
boss.
Say that again. I need to get that. Say that again. That was good.
I
Rewind.
say when they handle their problems or discussing handling their problems, it's about internally, emotionally.
Right.
But when they suggest us handling our problems, it's to go out and do
We got
something.
to do shit.
physically.
Yeah. We got to physically go
right.
out.
Yeah,
You better be a man and handle it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and it comes back to the same thing. Be a man. You having problems at work. You better go say something to that boss. Somebody's doing something in your area. You better get them out of your area. But that's not the response they would give themselves,
Right.
or not the response they would accept from us.
So we go handle it. We get fired.
Right.
Oh, you didn't sit up there. You didn't mess around.
Exactly.
Acting a fool.
Exactly.
Making white folks
Yeah.
fire. You
Right.
be like, well, didn't you just
You
tell
told me
me?
to go handle it.
Well, that's not what I meant, but that's what you said.
Right.
Well, that's,
So,
what is when somebody says be a man? What does that mean?
Honestly, just like you said earlier, be a man. Put that curtain up.
yeah.
Suppress all emotion. And first of all,
Grab your nuts.
yeah. Well, not even so much that is
This is a good.
move rationale above everything.
Right.
Move rationale above everything. And as men, when they say man up, as men, technically that's what we do as men.
Right.
Is rationale above everything. I can feel this way. I know this is going on, and I want to handle this.
But I can't show that.
I can't do that. I have to sit down and say, in order for me to handle this situation, what's the most rational way? I got to think it out.
Right.
To where and this ain't a man woman bashing thing, but
Right.
but other women, I'll go ahead and say women,
Right.
can react more emotionally,
Emotionally.
and be forgiven for
Yep.
for it later on.
Yep.
But if a man goes out and he acts
Brother got
emotionally rather than rationally,
Right.
the first thing they're gonna say is,
You acting like a woman.
Yeah, or
You angry.
after said and done, you didn't think that through.
Exactly.
So women can get mad and just cuss everybody out and say, "Oh, I reacted out of emotion.
Yeah, I'm an emotional creature.
My bad."
Yeah.
And
But if
forget
I
it.
get mad,
we don't have that same
and
courage.
Yeah.
cuss everybody
No.
out, you fired because you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Or,
and they don't.
not even so much fight. It can be in a social setting.
Yeah.
If
That's right. He agree with you.
if Keisha come down right here, right now, and cuss all us out, and tomorrow I was going through some
He
things,
upset too.
we're expected to be like, all right, we understand.
Now, if
If
we
we
do
come in here, cuss everybody
you're
out.
an asshole.
Right. You remember the
Never.
movie? You remember the movie?
You're never coming over again. You're cut off.
Right.
Because that's who you are. You old sensitive.
Right.
Yeah.
Sensitive ass.
Remember the
nigga.
movie?
Yeah, pretty much.
It was a movie. Was it Crash with Terrence Howard when they got stopped by the cops? And Terrence, in that particular movie, he was playing the anti, which is what he normally plays. He was the sensitive. He was and the cop basically, his wife basically fondled his wife, and Terrence didn't do nothing. And she was like, "Why you didn't defend me? Why you defend me?" He's
I
like,
remember that.
he's an officer, So it's like, they want us to do the things that, like you said, be Superman, put on the cape all the time, and sometimes, doing certain things. Not saying you let someone go that far, but I'm just saying we have to be rational because we understand that we come with something we're perceived as a threat anyway. So if we angry on top of that, and now we're saying we're being aggressive. Now we're being aggressive, and once you angry, once you're aggressive, now that gives them all the power to do what they need to do, what they want to do.
The reason why I asked that, man, I thought about a joke. This comedian was like, I can't remember, it was a long time ago. This comedian was like, I was dating this chick, man, and this chick said, what would happen if we got attacked by a werewolf or something? And he was like, I don't know, baby. And she was like, well, you better fight for me, girl. You better fight for me, better. I'm like, shit, if we get attacked by a werewolf, we both gonna be running.
Yeah.
I ain't finna fight no damn werewolf.
Right.
So her thing was, and this is a joke, of course, so I didn't take it seriously. But in the joke, the girl's thing was, you're not a man if you don't fight that werewolf.
Right.
Now, I ain't never, a werewolf, it's a joke. Come on now, it's a joke.
Right.
Werewolves are not real.
Right.
So don't call me and saying I ain't, But the whole concept and the whole idea of if you're afraid of a werewolf, then you're not a man.
Right.
Something is wrong with you.
Right.
Or if you're afraid
It's
to,
like we can't be scared.
you can't be scared.
Nothing.
You can't be scared. And I tell my son, and I saw this in a meme one time, and this is last week. My son is 4, and there was some boys playing, and I was, trying to go play.
Right.
Daddy, I'm scared. So what do you say in that situation?
Boy,
Do you
be
tell them,
scared.
be a man,
Yeah.
grow up?
Be a man.
Right.
I said, it's okay to be scared.
Right.
Do it scared. If you're scared to go speak to those kids, that's fine. It's okay to be scared because being scared is a human emotion.
Right.
But just go over there and do it while you're scared.
Right.
Which is
And that way,
a
next
great
time,
response.
right?
Right.
But
We've been taught.
Yeah, we've been taught.
Yeah, we
Well,
talk different.
And
You don't be scared.
It's been
Just go over there.
It's been ingrained
Right.
in so much. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Boy, get
I
your
got
ass out there and go play.
I'm gonna say, I'm scared. Scared? What you scared of?
Yeah.
Take your little ass out there.
Like,
and
go
go
play. That's
You
the
know.
way we was raised.
Exactly. That's the way
We
we was
didn't
raised.
get the, it's okay
It's
to
okay,
be
yeah.
scared. It's
No.
okay
Because,
to
but I
cry.
think, in all honesty, our parents were raised in that 60s, 50s,
And they
60s
were
era.
raised-
They had
and
to be.
know
They were raised
mistake if
tougher than us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And their whole thing is, they were scared for us.
Right.
Because if he goes out here in society, he shows he's scared, he shows that he's nervous, he shows that they're going to get it.
Predator. He's prey.
Because what they saw when they were our age, at that teenage years, 20s and stuff, the ones that were scared were out there getting beat and getting lynched.
Now, I asked the question earlier, what does it mean to be a man? And we talked about, that is a cool ass lighter, bro.
Christmas gift.
I'm sorry. But anyway, no, I'm good. Bro. I like gadgets. Y'all remember that lighter image store? Sharper Image?
Sharper
Yeah,
Image,
yeah.
I spend 2 or 3 hours in there just playing
Yeah,
with shit.
all kinds of gadgets.
But anyway, I asked y'all earlier, what does it mean to be a man? And we talked about,
Now, based on individual definition or with society? Because it's two
either
different
or.
things.
Either or. Your definition, what do you think?
My definition of a man is
Okay, put it like this. And I'm gonna tell you where I got this question from. I was listening to a song by New Edition,
Boys to Men.
Boys.
Yes!
Yep.
Yes, dog! And the song says
It's
something
deep.
about we keep growing, not knowing, and the song talks about, y'all remember being 14, 15, 16,
Right.
and not knowing what it meant, when am I going to be a man?
But when the song came out, you just liked the song. But it wasn't until you became a man, a father, and had to get out and, you know, get your grown man on to where it's like, damn, now I know this. Because I listen to music all the time. Like I say, you know,
Old school.
I'm not going to fault you. You went to Prairie Views in the band. I went to Grand House in the band. So we know music.
Yes, sir.
And it's like songs that we've heard growing up as a kid, yeah, we like it, but you may hear the song, you may have heard a song yesterday that you've been hearing for the last 40
And it
years.
means different.
And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, damn, that's what that means. It hits you different.
Yeah.
It hits you different. So,
Well, the song says something about responsibility falls into our hands. And that's literally what you're doing. Because I remember teaching a kid who was 18 one year, literally. And then at 21, he had a 2-year-old
Right.
or a 1-year-old. And he had a job and responsibility. So this boy went from being 17 to raising a family.
yeah, he went from a
Boy
boy
to a man instantly.
And with men, it can literally change overnight.
Yeah.
It can
Definitely.
literally, and I mean, it'll hit you like a ton of bricks. It's like, oh shit,
Somebody's depending on me.
another life.
Another life. And what's
That
what's
I created.
And what's sad is that some men don't get that
They don't.
until they're 40, 35. I remember the day in my head, I feel like I grew up. I was like,
How old were you?
I was 17. And I remember I was tired as hell, man. I was working at Yards 46 on Lancaster, Ledbetter, Yards 46 on Ledbetter in Sunnyvale.
Okay.
And they gave me an hour and a half for lunch. So they had me working from 10 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. As a 17-year-old, I was working 10 o'clock in the morning.
You was
to
hustling.
10 o'clock at night on weekends. So they gave me an hour and a half for lunch. And I remember driving home on my lunch break to get me something to eat. And I remember seeing some kids playing. And I remember thinking, damn, I want to go play. Shit, gotta go back
that
to
money.
work. Gotta go back to work. And that's all I said. And I was 17.
Right.
And I remember thinking, damn, I want to go play. It's a bunch of kids. They playing football. I want to go play, but I can't.
Right.
Because I feel like I had to go back to work.
Yeah, you got responsibility.
I had responsibility. And honestly, back then, I didn't have to work because I had parents that took care of me, but I felt like at 17, I'm responsible.
You thought you was a man.
I thought I was.
We've all been there.
Right.
We've all been there.
It's not even that I thought I was a man. I was. Because in my head, I can't go play.
Right.
The playing was not an option for me. I knew I couldn't go play. But for a split second, the child in me wanted to pull that car over and jump out and play football. But I knew I got to be back at work in 20 minutes.
And I mean, even in our 40s, every now and then that child wants to come out.
I
Exactly.
still play football.
As I was about to say,
It's
you
like,
you were a man.
it's like,
That's what we do as grown men.
It may be a Thursday, you get a text from your partner, say, hey, man, we're going to meet up at this little spot, have a couple drinks. And he's like, yeah, I want to go. But I'm like, damn, boy, hey, the alarm going to go off at 6:30. I got to be to
Right.
work for 8. And it's like, I know how it is when hanging out with y'all. And it's like, nah, you just got to be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, you can't go.
Can't go.
No, you can't
You
go.
want to go, but you.
I want to go, but yeah, you can't go.
This was good.
The lady of the house.
Are we done?
Good stuff.
I was going to ask another question. I have another question.
Go ahead.
Would you say
We
it's
talked
over?
about what it means to be a man.
Oh.
I gotta go. I gotta go.
Right.
So
Well, I was gonna close it. That's why I came
I
out.
just want to do one more thing. I just want to ask that because I love the information I'm getting from these brothers. So we talked about what it means to be. You talk about if I say I'm a man, you have to do this, be this, and this, right?
Right.
So this is what I would tell a 15, 16-year-old boy that says, "Daddy, uncle, I want to be a man." This is where you were finna go. Okay. So
Start with you.
what can I tell a 15, 16, 17-year-old boy that says he wants to be a man? This is what you have to do. And then what do I tell a 15, 16, 17-year-old girl that wants to be a woman? Or saying, is the list the same? Like men have to jump through, you have to do this, and this to be a man.
Well, first off, I'll tell that 15-year-old boy, it's not like you can go buy it in the store like you buy a pair of sneakers or, you apply for it. It's just something that's going to progress. I said, you're going to come across obstacles. Some you're going to be real successful at. Some you're going to fail. And like I tell my son, I said, failure is a part of life. I said, some of the wealthiest people in the world have failed. tremendously. But the thing about it is, making mistakes and failing is part of life. What you need to do is learn from it. You make a mistake, you learn from it. Don't repeat that mistake, because once you keep repeating the same mistake, it's no longer a mistake. It's a pattern.
It's a pattern.
It's a pattern. It becomes a habit.
Definitely.
My son was probably about 6 or 7 years old. I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna tell you about good habits and bad habits. I said, what happens when you practice a good habit? He said, well, Daddy, you get good at it. I said, now what happens when you practice a bad habit?
You get good at it.
He said, you get bad at it. I said, no.
You get
You get good at that bad habit, which in
Right.
turn is not good.
Yeah.
And eventually, over the course of time, it can hinder you from being successful.
That's good. You can be good at doing bad stuff
Oh, and that's what you don't want to do.
You don't want to do that.
unless you're a thief.
So I know each of you have sons. I guess I'll go through with each one of you and ask, what are you teaching your sons now about how to be a man? Starting with Rodney.
I teach
Or
my son.
your son is a lot older, but
Yeah.
How did your
I'm
son?
teaching.
it's a monkey.
Yeah. Well, when I'm teaching my sons, I'll take it both ways. What I'm teaching my sons right now is what I'm teaching my sons are, you have a responsibility. You no longer. I'm like, you can always come to me. You know, your mother's gone, but you can always come to me. But you are the head of your household. You are responsible for the family that you created, and it's up to you to make sure that you uphold the family. I mean, you lean on your wife, you know, as your wife, and as one, y'all work together. But you are responsible for making sure that your family is taken care of. And so you take care of your family. And you do it, you know, without injuring them physically or emotionally. My grandsons, I tell them, hey, look, being a man is something that comes as a result of responsibility. I'm like, when you are responsible for taking care of yourself, taking care of the issues around you, that is what we consider manhood. And even to the point where the setting that I teach in, I teach at an alternative school. I even had a talk with a young man. He's 8th grade. He's about to have a baby. But you know, his mentality is still 8th grade mentality. Right. What you doing? We smoking weed. I'm on the corner, everything else. And I sat him down. I'm like, now's the time you transition from a boy to a man. And he's like, well, what are you talking about? I'm like, you're bringing a life into this world, which means you now don't get to play.
You don't.
Street boy, corner boy, dope boy.
Does he understand
getting
that?
high. Your role now is
Daddy.
taking care of this life that you created. And you don't take care of that life you created by running around trying to find ways to scheme other people to take care of them. Because if you can't scheme or you can't come up on some way, then your child is lost out there without you. Or if you get caught and you go to jail, your son or daughter, whichever one, I believe is going to be a boy, now does not have a father.
Does that boy have a daddy?
Yeah, you know, long story. He has his father's he's Hispanic child,
Yeah.
and so his father is working. You know, spending a lot of time in Mexico working, and then when he's in, he's truly working. So he comes home, lay it down, wake up, grab his lunch, and he's gone.
Yeah.
And so
Smart kid? Smart kid or lazy?
it's like I said, I teach at alternative school, so smart. I mean, all of them have the ability. Yeah,
Intelligent.
He's intelligent, but he's so caught up in the life that I really wasn't able to gauge exactly how intelligent he was because, besides him understanding the conversation that we were having and the little work that, little schoolwork that I was
if
giving
he
him.
understands the stuff that you telling him, he's intelligent. Because if he was, and when I say intelligent,
I mean his level. I couldn't gauge his level of intelligence.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you. Like I tell kids all the time. 7 hours with me, 17 hours out in that world.
Exactly.
I can give you as much as I can force into you in 7 hours, but if you had 17 hours telling you that everything I'm telling you is wrong, it's a lost cause.
Yeah. It is.
So I mean, it seemed like he was soaking up. Seemed like he was understanding. We had his talks every day. It seemed like he was retaining it. But I don't know how much, his level of intelligence and being able to retain it as opposed to fighting off the 17 hours a day of influence he's getting outside of me.
Does he ever talk about the future or like what he want to do or?
I mean, he didn't know. Like
I told you I talk a lot.
yeah, like we have this thing in the district now, social emotional learning. Not a big social emotional person, but what we did is we sat down and I broke down goals. I'm like, what do you want? And because there's one quote that I tell my students every single day. Actually, two quotes, but one I'm gonna tell y'all. There's only two things real in this life: decisions and consequence. I'm like, that money, those cars, houses, girlfriends, wives, children, all of those are consequences. Your consequences can either be positive or negative, but everything is based off of decision. Those are the only two things real, and you start from the day you're born. If you're a little baby and you touch that stove, that consequence, you get burned, you get a whooping. As a baby, even as a baby, you have a choice. I can go back and sneak and touch that stove again.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get burned again, I'm gonna get a whooping again. I can touch that stove as many times as I want. I have to decide that it's not worth the burn, it's not worth the whooping. I'm like, and that goes from the day you're born, well, almost to the day you're able to move around on your own, to the day they put you in that ground. Life is only only has two things that are real: decisions and consequences.
I like that.
For my son, he's 7 years old, but I think the things I'm trying to instill in him is to be a protector, right? He has a little sister, so, like we go to the park or something, I'm like, where your little sister at? Where your little sister at? You see the little sister over there with the little boy? Go check on your sister. Go check on your sister. Protect what you value. Kids will protect what they value. If it's a video game, if it's a new pair of Jordans or whatever, they'll protect what they value, right? Mm-hmm. And then one day, obviously, I want him to be a provider. I want him to be able to provide for his family, provide for the things he wants in life. Teach him that work ethic. Hey, this is what you do every day. Daddy goes to work. You see Daddy coming home. Daddy mows the grass. Daddy take you to the park. Daddy do all these things because I'm providing an environment for you so that you can feel protected, right? So you can feel loved. The last thing is love. And, I know a lot of fathers who, because they were brought up in that old school way, they don't tell their kids they love them. Yeah. It may happen every now and then, or it may just be, you have to force a love out of your own parent, and so you're building this thing of what I have to do to get that love or hear Daddy say he loves me. So I love on my son. I don't care about, I kiss my son on the cheek or whatever the case may be, because I'm showing him that men can be affectionate. That don't make you a punk. But I want him to be able to, in turn, take that same love. And then once he has a family, he knows how to react and connect with the opposite sex. Because a lot of our boys walk around here hard because they don't have daddy's one, or daddy, like you say, is working all the time. He ain't there. His daddy didn't show him how to love. So I'm trying to teach him how to be a protector, provider, and how to love the things that he protects and he provides for. So I think that's the three main things that I'm trying to teach my son.
One of the things I've been teaching my son for years, since he was little, is honesty. Your word is your bond. I tell him, I said, be honest. I said, because if the minute people, I said, lying, because, like I said, I was a cop for a number of years, and I always tell them, I say, if you lie, you steal, you kill. I said, if people can't trust you, they're not going to fool with you. I say, that's friends, family, whatever. If people can't trust you, for one, they're not going to let you in their house. I say, son, I love you more than you can ever imagine. But if I can't trust you, then I can't have you in my house. And then I'm going to let everybody know. I say, your word is what you got. First and foremost, your word. So if people can trust you, if you're honest with them, then they have a level of trust, and they see you trying to. And also I say, put forth the effort. Right now your life is as easy as it'll ever be. You're a kid, you're in school. Your life is as easy as it'll ever be. So if you claim that something is hard, it's because you didn't want to do right.
Right.
I said, now you're at the age, being that he's 14, I said, and it's kind of like what his principal told him in 8th grade, every decision that you make at age 13, he was 13 at the time, will affect you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And because he said, because these kids nowadays, they're that, that internet age where, they see these athletes, these musicians, these rock stars, these rappers, they see the finished product. And so they figure, oh, it's easy. I said, but I tell you, do your research, you'll find out that a lot of these artists struggled.
Right.
A lot of them were hungry, homeless. But I tell them, I say, first and foremost, I say, you got to be honest. I say, because once you lose an individual's trust, it's hard to get back.
Right.
Now, some people will give you a second chance, but 9 times out of 10, if you lose trust in someone,
Right.
they won't fool with you. And I always told them, I said, I know you think I'm hard on you. I said, I'm hard on you for 2 reasons. I said, one, because I see your potential. You don't see it yet because you're too young.
Right.
But but most importantly, I'm hard on you because I love you. I said, my father wasn't around, and the conversations that you and I have, I would have given anything to have with my father.
Right.
And I told him, I said, well, when I was old enough to be like, you know what, I'm going to find my father, you know, we're going to go ahead on and build their relationship. I said, unfortunately for me, I get that phone call saying that he had passed away. So, you know, here I am, you know, 35, 36 years old, and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm going to find my father. Unfortunately, I didn't have that opportunity. I said, you have a father that loves you, and I guarantee if you ask a lot of your friends, boys and girls, if their father's around and shows them attention, I said, I guarantee you most of them are going to be like, no.
Right.
I said, you're blessed beyond your wildest dreams. So.
Good stuff, Steve.
I think I said earlier, I just teach my son just effort. I really like what you guys are saying. You're saying you teach him how to provide. You know, you got to provide. A woman, no woman is going to want a man who she got to take care of.
Right.
So if you're going to be a man, you have to be able to provide for your family. Protect. I think you said protect,
Right.
and you said a man is good for his word, and that's what I'm real big on. I'm always real big. If I say I'm going to do something,
Do it.
I'm going to do it. And I can't remember what athlete it was. It may have been Steve McNair, one of those guys. His daddy told him, I don't have much to give you, but I'm going to give you my name. And
Jerome
that's all
Bettis. Jerome Bettis. He said that
Yes.
his Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said, I ain't got nothing, but I'm going to give you his name. And when I tell you I'm watching this and I'm almost in tears because I understand how much that meant for his daddy to say, I can't give you anything, but I can give you my name. And that's what I kind of try to give to my son. Like, I'm not rich. I'm not the dad that's going to buy you a Mercedes for your 16th birthday. But we can go outside and throw this football, though, right, for free. We can go out and throw this football. I can teach you how to tie your shoe. You know, I can teach you, like, at a point, you can't cry as a man. You can't cry. And I teach my son that. You can't cry as a man just because it's Tuesday. You can't. I'm sorry, you can't. And so I try to teach him if it hurts, you can cry. Because pain hurts.
It does.
Until you a certain age. If I'm 35 and I get a cut and I cry, that's the issue. And I teach my son at 10, if it hurts, it's okay to cry. Being a man does not mean you can't cry or show emotion. But it does mean there's a certain place for that emotion, and sometimes you just can't show it off the bat.
Right.
Wow. You brought it right back home. Thank you. Yeah, it was about the feelings, and I like the way you expressed how you teach it to your son that he can cry, and it's okay to do that. Thank you guys so much for sharing. I hope that everybody that watches or listens is able to get something out of this. So.
I'm excited to see. I really like what you're doing here, Keisha. It's really good.
I appreciate it.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Not
Good
bad.
job.
PV taught you a little something.
Produces productive people.
So yeah, we're done here. We can wrap it up. I would like you all to do whatever you want in the camera, just for outtakes. You can smile. Oh, by the way, guys, any of the music that you hear, that's Reno. So the music that you hear on the show, he's the producer right here.
All right.
Really?
All right.
That's Reno.